I want to tell you something that happened to me about 3 weeks ago. I was standing in the cereal aisle at my local grocery store, just a regular Tuesday, and the woman next to me picked up a box, looked at the price tag, and her jaw literally dropped. She put it back, picked it up again, put it back again, and then she just walked away, empty-handed. I felt that, because I had done the same thing 6 months earlier with something I never thought twice about buying my entire adult life. And that moment is what started me going down a rabbit hole I could not stop. Because it turns out there are grocery items sitting in your cart right now, things you've been buying on autopilot for years, that are quietly draining your wallet, degrading in quality, and in some cases being replaced with cheaper versions while the packaging stays exactly the same. And nobody is talking about this in a way that actually helps you. So today, I'm going through 12 of them. Some of these you're going to nod your head at immediately. Some are going to shock you. And number 8, I'm telling you right now, number 8 is going to make you rethink something you probably bought this week. If you're new here, hit subscribe right now. This channel is about staying ahead of what's happening before everyone else figures it out. Let's get into it. I want to be clear about something before we start. This isn't about being cheap. This isn't about cutting out things you love. This is about being smart, understanding what you're actually paying for versus what you think you're paying for. There's a big difference, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So let's start with number 1. Item number 1, pre-shredded cheese. This one sounds almost too simple to be on this list, but stay with me. Pre-shredded cheese, the bags you grab from the refrigerated section, costs on average 30 to 50% more per ounce than a block of the exact same cheese sitting right next to it. In 2026, with cheese prices where they are, that gap is real money. But here's what most people don't know about what's inside those bags. Manufacturers add cellulose powder, which is derived from wood pulp, to keep the shreds from clumping. That coating also affects how the cheese melts. If you've ever made a grilled cheese or a quesadilla and noticed it wasn't quite as gooey as you expected, that's part of why. The coating interferes with the melt. I looked this up myself after I started noticing my homemade mac and cheese wasn't coming out the way I expected. I compared block cheddar melted at the same temperature to the bagged shreds, and the difference was immediately obvious. The practical move here is simple. Buy the block. Get a basic box grater if you don't have one. They're a few dollars. Shred what you need. It takes 90 seconds. You'll taste the difference and you'll spend less. That's a win on both sides of the equation. The money you save on cheese alone over a year is more than most people realize, and the quality is genuinely better. Item number 2, single-serve flavored oatmeal packets. Oatmeal has a reputation as a budget food, a healthy food, a smart choice. But the single-serve flavored packets, the ones in the colorful boxes near the breakfast aisle, have quietly become one of the worst value purchases in the grocery store. A box of 10 packets can run you $5 to $7 depending on the brand. That's 50 to 70 cents per serving. Meanwhile, a large canister of plain old-fashioned oats, the kind that cooks in the same amount of time, costs about the same total price and gives you 40 or 50 servings. The flavored packets are also loaded with added sugar. Many of the popular varieties have 12 to 15 grams of sugar per packet, which is more than some candy bars. The lower sugar versions often replace that sugar with artificial sweeteners and still carry the same inflated price. I grew up eating those little packets, the maple brown sugar ones especially, and I didn't even question it until I actually did the math one afternoon and nearly fell out of my chair. Buy the plain rolled oats. Add your own brown sugar, cinnamon, a little honey, whatever you like. You control what goes in it. You get far more servings for the same money, and the nutritional profile is dramatically better. It takes the same 3 minutes to prepare. This one is a habit change, not a sacrifice. Once you make the switch, you will genuinely wonder why you waited so long. Item number 3, bottled water, the big national brands. I know this feels like a tired conversation, but the reality of what's happening with bottled water pricing in 2026 means it needs to be said plainly. The major national brands, and you know exactly which ones I'm talking about, are now charging prices per ounce that are genuinely staggering when you do the comparison. In some regions, A case of 24 bottles from a premium brand costs more per gallon than gasoline. That's not an exaggeration. That's actual math. And here's the part that makes this more than just a price complaint. Multiple independent studies, covered widely in consumer and environmental reporting, have found measurable levels of microplastics in major bottled water brands. The smaller the bottle, the more surface area contact, the higher the concentration. This is not fringe science anymore. It's in mainstream health reporting. I made the switch about 2 years ago to a countertop filter with a reusable bottle, and I've been tracking what I spend on water. My monthly cost dropped by more than $30. That's over $350 a year I stopped handing to a corporation for a product I can replicate at home for pennies. Get a filter. It doesn't have to be expensive. Basic activated carbon pitchers work well for most tap water. Get 2 or 3 good reusable bottles. Do this once, and then you're done. This is one of those changes that pays for itself in under a month and keeps paying you back every single month after that. Item number 4. Store brand immune support. Supplements mixed into juice. This one is a little more specific, but I want to make sure I explain it clearly because it's a category that's grown enormously. You've seen these. The refrigerated juice drinks, or sometimes shelf-stable bottles, that say things like immune support or defense blend and have pictures of oranges and elderberries on the front. They charge a significant premium over regular juice. Grocery stores have expanded these sections substantially in the last 2 years. The amounts of active ingredients, the zinc, the elderberry extract, the vitamin C, are often well below the doses that clinical research actually associates with any measurable benefit. You're largely paying for the marketing language and the packaging. The juice itself is frequently high in sugar, and the ingredient list, when you read it carefully, often shows these immune components listed near the bottom, meaning they're present in trace amounts. When I started checking labels more carefully, I found regular orange juice from the same store had comparable vitamin C content at less than half the price. The premium wellness version was effectively flavored sugar water with a health story attached. If you want actual immune support, a standalone vitamin C supplement or a zinc lozenge is cheaper, more concentrated, and more effective. And eat real fruit. Don't let the packaging make health decisions for you. Read the label. Compare the numbers. The wellness premium is one of the biggest margins in the grocery store right now. Item number 5. Pre-marinated meats. Walk past the fresh meat section in any major grocery store, and you'll see it. Trays of chicken or pork or beef that come pre-marinated, pre-seasoned, sometimes with names like Tuscan herb or honey garlic glazed. They're convenient. They look appealing. They also cost significantly more per pound than the exact same cut sitting right next to them without the marinade. In many stores, the price per pound is 30 to 60% higher, and the marinade itself, which is predominantly water, salt, oil, and basic spices, costs almost nothing to recreate at home. There's another issue that's less discussed. Pre-marinated meats frequently have higher sodium content, sometimes dramatically higher. Some popular varieties have over 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving. If you're watching your salt intake, or even if you're not, that's worth knowing. I started making my own marinades after looking at the cost difference and realizing I was paying a premium for a mixture I could make in 2 minutes with pantry staples. Olive oil, garlic, lemon, herbs, salt. Done. Buy the plain cuts. Marinate them yourself the night before or the morning of. You get better flavor because you control it, you pay less, and you avoid the sodium overload. The convenience of the pre-marinated version is maybe 5 minutes, and it's costing you real money every single week. Item number 6. Name brand spices in small jars. I want you to think about the last time you bought a small jar of name brand spices at the grocery store. You probably paid somewhere between $4 and $7 for it, maybe more for something like saffron or smoked paprika. Now I want you to think about the bulk spice section of your grocery store, or the ethnic grocery aisle, or any international food market within driving distance of you. The exact same spices, often the same quality or better, sometimes sourced from the same regions, are available in significantly larger quantities for a fraction of the price. I'm talking about paying $2 for a bag of cumin that would cost you $6 for a fraction of the amount in the name brand jar. The spice markup in conventional grocery stores is one of the highest margins in the entire store. The small glass jar, the familiar logo, the end cap placement, all of that is design working against your wallet. I started buying my spices from a small Indian grocery near where I live about 18 months ago, and my monthly grocery bill went down noticeably. The garlic powder is more fragrant. The chili flakes actually have heat. And I'm not paying for a tiny jar that lasts 2 weeks. Find a bulk section or an international market near you. Bring small containers to refill or buy the bags. Taste the difference and never go back. This is one of those switches that costs you almost no effort and saves you money every single month going forward. Item number 7, pre-washed bagged salad. Bagged salad is one of those products that feels virtuous. You're buying vegetables. You're eating healthy. You're making a good choice. But the economics of bagged salad are genuinely terrible. You are paying a very high price per pound for a product that has one of the shortest shelf lives in the produce section, is frequently contaminated with excessive moisture that accelerates spoilage, and has a documented history of recalls related to food safety issues. Listeria and E. coli recalls in bagged greens appear in the news with regularity. The waste factor alone should make you reconsider. Industry data on bagged salad suggests a significant percentage of product is thrown away before it's consumed, either by the retailer or the consumer. You're paying full price for something with a real chance of ending up in your trash. I went through a period where I was buying 2 or 3 bags a week for my household. I started noticing how often I was throwing away half a bag that had turned before I got to it. When I added it up over a month, the waste was embarrassing. Buy a head of romaine or a bunch of kale. It keeps longer. It costs less per ounce. Rinse and chop what you need. A whole head of romaine lasts nearly twice as long as a bag of the same lettuce pre-washed and pre-cut. The prep time is about 2 minutes. Your wallet and your food safety outcomes both improve at the same time. Item number 8, brand name cereal. And here we are. Number 8, the one I told you about at the top. I want you to really sit with this one because I think this is the item where the gap between what we're paying and what we're actually getting is the most extreme. Major name brand cereals, and I mean the ones with the characters on the box, the ones you've been eating since childhood, the ones your kids ask for by name, have gone through what the food industry quietly calls shrinkflation and ingredient substitution over the past several years at a pace that is genuinely alarming. Boxes are smaller, net weights are lower. The ratio of actual whole grain or quality ingredients to filler, sugar, and artificial coloring has shifted in the wrong direction. And the price per ounce has gone up substantially. In many cases, you are now paying significantly more money for a worse product in a smaller box than you were buying 5 years ago. The name brand cereal premium over store brand or generic is often 50 to 100% for what is frequently an essentially identical product made in the same facilities. I've done this comparison myself multiple times. I've done blind taste tests with my family. In most cases, nobody could tell the difference. In some cases, people preferred the store brand. Beyond the price, the sugar content in popular children's cereals is a conversation in itself. Many popular varieties have more sugar per serving than a glazed donut. That's not conjecture, that's label math. Buy the store brand equivalent. Or better, oats, eggs, yogurt, real food for breakfast. If cereal is important to your household, do a side-by-side taste test with the generic. You may be surprised. And you will almost certainly save money immediately. This one is emotional, because these brands are tied to memory and nostalgia. But the product you're buying today is not the product from your childhood. The company changed it. The price went up. The loyalty is a one-way street. Item number 9, individually packaged. Snack packs, the 100-calorie packs, the individual chip bags, the tiny portions of crackers or cookies sold in multi-pack boxes. These products have been a staple of American grocery shopping for decades, and they are consistently one of the worst value propositions on the shelf. The price per ounce of individually packaged snack portions is almost always dramatically higher than buying the same product in a standard size package. You're paying for the packaging, the portioning labor, and the marketing positioning around portion control, which research consistently shows does not actually result in eating less for most people. The packaging waste is also substantial, Every individual foil bag inside the larger box is material that gets thrown away. You're essentially paying extra to generate more trash. I went through a phase of buying these for convenience when I had a busy stretch at work. When I looked at my grocery receipts and did the per-ounce comparison, I was genuinely shocked. I was spending nearly double what I would have for the full-size version. Buy the regular size. Use a small reusable container or a zip bag to portion what you want. It takes 15 seconds and saves you real money. If portion control is the goal, the container method works just as well. Arguably better because you're making an active decision each time, rather than relying on a prepackaged size. Don't pay a premium to have someone else do something that takes you 15 seconds. Item number 10. Fancy flavored olive oil from the grocery store. This one surprised me when I started looking into it. The flavored olive oils, the truffle-infused ones, the garlic varieties, the herb blends, sold in decorative bottles in the specialty food section of major grocery stores, carry significant price premiums and frequently have a quality problem that most consumers never discover. Independent food testing has found that many products labeled as truffle oil contain no actual truffle whatsoever. They use synthetic 2,4-dithiapentane, a lab-created compound that mimics the aroma of truffle. This is legal. It's not labeled deceptively in a way that's regulated, but it means you're paying premium prices for an artificial flavoring in an olive oil base that is often not even extra virgin quality. The same issue exists in a broader form for many flavored olive oils. The base oil quality is frequently lower than what the premium price and elegant packaging suggests. I spent a long time buying a garlic-infused olive oil that felt like a treat, something special for certain dishes. When I looked into how it was actually produced versus how it was marketed, the gap was significant. Make your own. Heat plain olive oil with fresh garlic cloves on low for a few minutes. Let it cool. Use it. The flavor is incomparably better, and you control the quality of every ingredient. For truffle flavor specifically, if you genuinely enjoy it, buy a small amount of actual truffle salt, which is significantly cheaper per use than the fake truffle oil. You deserve to know what's actually in what you're paying for. Item number 11. Frozen diet meals. The frozen diet meal category, the individually portioned low-calorie entrees from national brands, is one I want to address carefully because a lot of people rely on these with genuinely good intentions. The price per meal has increased substantially in recent years, while serving sizes have in many cases decreased. What you get for your money is a small portion of food that is often high in sodium, sometimes extraordinarily high, with ingredient lists dominated by fillers, modified starches, and artificial preservatives. The calorie count may be low, but the nutritional density is frequently also very low. Multiple nutrition analysts have pointed out that many popular frozen diet meals have sodium levels that account for a significant fraction of the entire recommended daily intake in a single small meal. For people managing blood pressure or heart health, this is a genuine concern, not just a minor issue. I had a family member who relied heavily on these for about a year while trying to lose weight. The cost was real, the sodium was high, and the satisfaction level was low enough that the habit wasn't sustainable. When she switched to preparing simple whole food meals, which took comparable time once she had a routine, both the cost and the outcomes improved. If convenience is the need, that's completely valid. But batch cooking simple proteins and vegetables on a Sunday and storing them in portions gives you the same convenience, dramatically better nutrition, and significantly lower cost per meal. The frozen diet meal is solving a real problem with an expensive and nutritionally compromised solution. You deserve better than a small cardboard tray for $6. Item number 12. Store Loyalty Program. Brands at member price. This last one is a little different from the others. It's not about a specific food product, it's about a shopping behavior, a trap that is now embedded into how major grocery chains present pricing, and I think it's important enough to close on. Major grocery chains have shifted to a pricing model where the regular shelf price is effectively fictitious. The real price, the one that reflects what the product actually costs to sell at a reasonable margin, is the member price or loyalty card price. The non-member price is inflated specifically to make the member price feel like a discount. This creates several problems. First, It trains shoppers to feel like they're winning when they're simply paying the normal price. Second, it's used to collect purchasing data that stores sell and use for their own purposes. Third, and this is the one that costs you money, it creates a psychological anchor that discourages comparison shopping. Because you feel like you already have the deal, you stop checking whether the item is cheaper somewhere else entirely. At Walmart, at Aldi, at a different chain, online. The member savings framing closes your mind to further comparison at exactly the moment you should still be comparing. I started keeping a simple notes file on my phone with prices for items I buy regularly. Just the unit price. And I found that many things I was buying at member price at my main grocery store were simply cheaper, without any card or membership, at other stores nearby. The loyalty program is primarily loyal to the store's data collection and pricing architecture. Use the card for the discount, but don't stop there. Keep comparing. The deal is real, but it's not always the best deal available. You are more powerful as a consumer than these stores want you to feel. Here's what I want you to notice about everything we just went through. There is a pattern here. And once you see the pattern, this stops feeling like a list of random items and starts feeling like a coherent picture of how the modern grocery industry actually works. The pattern is this. You are being asked to pay a premium for convenience, packaging, familiarity, and the feeling of making a smart or healthy choice, whether or not the product actually delivers on any of that. Pre-shredded cheese, flavored oat packets, bagged salad, frozen diet meals, individual snack packs. In every case, the product being sold is not primarily food. It's the experience of ease. And ease has a price that gets quietly baked into every item. The companies doing this are not evil. They're responding to real consumer preferences and real lifestyle pressures. But understanding what you're actually buying gives you the power to make different choices. The people who won't change anything after watching this are the ones who say, "I already knew that," without ever acting on it. Knowing and doing are different things. The people who come out ahead financially are the ones who take even 2 or 3 of these switches seriously and actually make them. You don't have to change everything overnight. Pick the item on this list that made you the most uncomfortable, the one where you thought, "Yeah, I do that." And just start there. One change, 1 week. See what it does to your grocery bill. Most people are going to keep doing what they've always done. They'll grab the familiar box, toss it in the cart without looking at the price, and wonder at the end of the month why the grocery bill feels out of control. That doesn't have to be you. You're watching this. You're paying attention. That already puts you ahead. If this gave you something useful today, hit subscribe. I put out videos every week on exactly this kind of thing. What's actually happening with prices, what's worth buying, what to avoid, and how to stay ahead of the changes before they hit your wallet. Leave a comment and tell me which item surprised you the most. Or tell me something you think should have been on this list. I read all of them, and they genuinely shape what I cover next. And if you know someone who would find this useful, a friend, a family member, someone you split grocery runs with, share it with them. The more people know this stuff, the better off everyone is. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself and take care of your budget. They're more connected than most people think.